on this tour of the lovely Royal Botanic Gardens. Just a couple of safety things before we get going. Just make sure that you do stay in your seats at all times while the train is moving, and keep your arms and legs inside the carriage. Now, I do make 4 stops along the way, and you are more than welcome to hop off at any of those stops. If you decide to hop off though, that will be the end of your tour. We are very, very busy today, so it is very unlikely that you'll be able to get back onto the next train. So I really recommend that you guys just stay on and you do the full tour. Now I'm going to be talking to you about lots of interesting things in the garden, so all you have to do is sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. Now the first thing you're going to see is just over on the right hand side there. That there is Government House, and that was completed in 1845. It's the official residence of the Governor of New South Wales, but it's not an average sized house. There are in fact 120 rooms inside there, so it's pretty big. Just over on the left hand side, the nearest headland to us there is Macquarie's Point, and it tends to get pretty busy around there because you do get some of the best views of the harbour from that side, especially when the weather is as lovely as it is today. It's also where you'll find Mrs. Macquarie's chair, and that's the famous chair that's carved out of sandstone and was given to Elizabeth Macquarie by her husband, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, in 1816. They were the two that founded the gardens, and Macquarie's Point was Elizabeth's favourite part. She used to go and sit there quite a lot, so her husband just did something nice for her and made her a permanent seat there. Now the gardens have just celebrated their 202nd birthday, so they're actually the oldest botanic gardens in the entire country. Now just coming up on the left hand side here, you're going to see the garden's largest sculpture. This here is Warrawurri, which is Aboriginal for this side of the water, and you'll see that it's made from 2 parts. Now the part on the left is pretty interesting. It's completely hollow inside, and apparently it's home to some endangered microbats. And these bats are the size of mice. They're really tiny. They use the gap at the top there to get in and out of. I say apparently because I've been here a long time, done lots of evening events, and I've never ever seen these bats. So I'm not convinced they're there, but I'm not the expert, I don't really know. And then the part on the right is made from 350 tons of sandstone, and it's meant to look like a giant wave rolling down the hill, and that's to represent the history of the cove. Now if you just take a little look behind you, over your right shoulder, you get a much better look at the front of Government House. So you get to see that classic Gothic style architecture a little bit better from this side. Now Government House have actually got their very own gardens, and they are really, really pretty. They're open to the public every day between 10 and 4, so you can have a little wander around those. They also run free guided tours, only at the weekend though. The tours last around 45 minutes, so if you did want to do either the tour or just have a look around the gardens, you can head on over to the entrance, which is just the next road along on the right, and then back towards the house at the end of the fence. Now just up ahead over on the right, amongst the trees there, you're going to see a cream and green building that looks a little bit like a castle. That there is the Conservatorium of Music. It used to be the stables and the servants' block of the original Government House. And then the dark green building in front of it is the Conservatorium High School. So all the children that go to that school are musically gifted. And then over here on the left, on this lawn, you're going to see a whole load of dragon's blood trees. Bit of a weird name, but the botanic name for them is Dracaena Draco, which in Latin means male and female dragon, so that's where the dragon part of the name comes from. And then the blood part of the name comes from the colour of the sap inside the tree, because it's actually bright red like human blood. Now just over here on the left, you're going to see our herb gardens, and there are herbs and spices here from all over the globe. Hopefully you'll be able to smell them a little bit as we go past. I can't smell anything because I've got a cold, but they normally smell pretty good. Now the herbs and spices that are here actually just opened a new exhibition called Plants with Bite. I've not yet been, but it's well, actually I don't know if it's going to be open today or whether it opens tomorrow. But yeah, anyway, that's meant to be a really good exhibition. Before I go any further, did anybody want to try and hop off here at all? No, good stuff. We are just going to carry on. Yeah, I think the Calyx might actually be closed. I think the exhibition starts tomorrow, so a little bit early for it. Alright guys, now this part of the garden that we're just coming into now is known as Palm Grove. And as the name suggests, we're going to be surrounded by lots and lots of different types of palm trees from all over the world. And Palm Grove is actually one of the older parts of the gardens, so quite a lot of plants and trees that you'll see in this area are the ones that were first established way back in 1816. And this is actually my favourite part of the garden because we get quite a lot of water dragons around here. Now, because the weather's been a little bit chilly over the last few months, with it having been winter, they haven't been around as much, but today, pretty sunny. I've seen a few of them. There's a bridge that we're going to cross in a moment that they like to hang out on, so just keep your eyes peeled around there. That's where I've seen them this morning, so fingers crossed they haven't gone too far from there. Just over on the right here, this is the Sydney fernery, home to the oldest plants in the world, the fern. Although there is a bit of debate around that, because some people actually argue that it is in fact moss that's the oldest plant in the world, so who knows. Now we do have a couple of water dragons just over on the right. There's one just behind the rock there, and another one sitting on the ledge, just on the right hand side there. Big one on the right there. There's another little one just here. There's loads! I've never seen this many all in one here. Back carriage, I have to apologise to you guys because I'm going to have to put my foot down in a moment, so you might get just a quick look at them. We've got a hill to go up, and if I don't put my foot down, we won't make it up there. Alright, so we're just going through our camellia gardens here. And once we've gone through these, if you just take a look to your right, you're going to see the plant clinic there. That's where researchers are busy studying various plant diseases and how to treat them. Now once we get to the top of this hill here, we are going to get to our second stop. So on the right hand side, you're going to see the Woolloomooloo Gate, and if you go through there and take a right, you get to the art gallery to the southwest. So about a 4-minute walk from this point here. Did anybody need to hop off around here? Parking or anything? No? No, we're good? Okay, lovely stuff. We're going to carry right on. We've got two young men at the front here who are saying no to everyone, so I'm going to just listen to them. But you're not hopping up, are you boys? Okay, so this mountain here on the left, if you come back and you sit around in the afternoon, we quite often get rainbow lorikeets and cockatoos having a shower in the afternoon, so it's quite fun to see. Just over on the right here, we've got this coffee-coloured building across the lawn. That's the National Herbarium of New South Wales. It's got around 1.4 million plant specimens inside there, so it's quite a big collection. And then just coming up on the left, you are going to see the palm house. Now this used to be our glass house or our greenhouse. As you'll see though, we don't use it as a greenhouse anymore now. It's mainly used as an exhibition space, but you can also hire it for your wedding.
Wow,
we have had a wedding in there this morning actually. Very lovely. Alright guys, now in a moment we're going to be going round a roundabout, and in the middle of the roundabout is a very, very special tree. This here on the left is the Wollemi pine. Now the Wollemi pine was thought to have been extinct for 65 million years, but then in 1994 a park ranger was doing his rounds in the Blue Mountains National Park. He just found a bunch of these trees really randomly, and it made headlines across the entire globe because up until that moment the only way that you could see these trees was as fossils in museums. So it was a pretty big deal when they were found. So David Attenborough actually said it was like having a dinosaur walking around it. And I'm a huge Attenborough fan, so I feel like that's a pretty big statement to be making. on the left, we've got what is left of Australia's first European farm. So this would have all been established in 1788 by the British, of course, when they first came over. Although at the time, the farm would have been a lot bigger. It would have covered an area of about 8 acres. So pretty much everything that you can see here on the left and on the right would have been the farm. And it needed to be pretty big because when the British first came over, they brought with them just over 1,000 people. So they had quite a lot of mouths to feed.
They kept it.
Now we're just going to go through the last little bit of palm grove here. Hopefully we don't get too wet with all these sprinklers on. But as we go through, you might be able to spot some of the names of the palm trees. They're written on the trunks here on the right, on the labels, and there's some on the ground as well. And the reason I'm saying that you'll spot the names is just because some of them have got some really unusual names. There's things like the blushing palm, princess palm. One of my personal favourites is the flamethrower palm. I don't know why it's called that. This one on the left here, this tiny skinny thing, is a walking stick palm, which is, I think, quite appropriate. Now guys, when we get round this corner here, we're going to get to the third stop, mainly for your reference really, because again, I don't really recommend anyone hopping off, but on the left hand side, you're going to see the Garden Cafe and the Garden Restaurant, and then on the right hand side is the Palm Grove Centre and the Garden Shop. You guys actually get 10% discount at the garden shop if you do decide to purchase anything, so just keep a hold of the tickets. Did anybody need to hop off around here at all? Boys, are you sure? Positive, okay, awesome. So we're just going to carry straight on in that case. Alright. Okay, now in a moment, guys, we are going to go over a pretty small bridge. Blink and you might just miss it, but this bridge right here that we're going over is really significant. It's called Macquarie's Culvert, and it was built between 1813 and 1816, and it's actually the oldest bridge in Australia. We have it here in our very own garden. Now this part of the garden that we're just going through now is our tropical section. So we've got loads and loads of tropical plants on either side. And just on the right, on the other side of this wall, is the Spring Walk. Unfortunately, I can't get the train down there, but it is really, really pretty. You get a little look at it just through the gaps on the right here. Definitely worth a visit if you've got a bit of time. Now just over on the left, in the middle of this roundabout here, is another really special tree. This here is a Norfolk Island pine, otherwise known as the wishing tree. Now thousands of years ago, people believed that spirits lived inside those trees. So if you closed your eyes and you made a wish, you walked around the tree 3 times forwards and 3 times backwards, your wish would actually come true. Just over on the left there, you're going to see our main ponds, and if you head down there, keep an eye out for the eels that live in there, because we've got some really big ones. Over here on the right is the Southern Africa part of our garden, so there's lots of plants here from the countries that make up that region. Now interestingly, Southern Africa is only about 1/3 the size of Australia, but over there they've got more species of plant in that tiny little region than we have here in the whole of this country. Just coming up on the left hand side here, you're going to see a bit of a weird looking tree. This here is a Queensland bottle tree, and you'll see that the trunk is absolutely massive. And that's because the entire thing is actually filled with water, so that's why it's called a bottle tree. Just up ahead in front of us, you're going to see that we're coming up to the sea wall. Now if you look at the bottom of the wall, you'll see that there are a few gaps along it. There's some on the left here, and we'll drive past some more as well. And sometimes when the tide is high, the seawater comes in through these gaps, and this whole area on the left behind you will actually flood. And the eels that live in the pond love it when that happens, because they use that as a chance to get out of the pond. They'll swim into the harbour, and then they'll travel as far as New Caledonia, 2,000 kilometres away, where they actually go to breed. towards the Opera House. So if there is anybody that wanted to go to Macquarie's Point and see Mrs. Macquarie's chair, but they don't want to walk back from the Opera House, this is the closest that I can get you to it. All you've got to do is take a short stroll through the Euron gate up ahead and just follow the seawall round. You can't really miss it. Is there anybody that wanted to go to Macquarie's Point at all? Yeah, okay. Boys, I think we've got a few people that are going to jump off, but we'll let them off and then we'll carry on, okay?
걸어가기는 힘들지.
Yeah, maybe you saw that.
여기서 우리는 못 걸어가.
All right, guys. We are going to get going. Alright guys, so this part of the tour is my favourite part. I think for obvious reasons here, with that beautiful image there on the right hand side. I used to spend a really long time taking photos of this when I first arrived here in Sydney. My family was sick of me sending the same photo over and over again. I still do it as well. If I've ever got a spare moment, I'll still take photos. Despite having hundreds of them already on my phone. But anyway, that is of course the Sydney Opera House in front of the Harbour Bridge. One of the most iconic images in Australia. Now the Opera House is actually built on a site known as Bennelong Point. Bennelong is the name of the first English-speaking Aboriginal man. And the government decided in 1955 that that's where they wanted the Opera House to go. Once they'd made that decision, they launched an international competition to find the architect that would design it. And they had a lot of interest in that competition, 222 entries from 28 different countries. But it was a Danish man called Jorn Utzon who went on to win. And he said he was inspired by a few different things, like the wings of a swan, the sails of a ship, and the most recent one I've heard is the segments of an orange. So there's lots of different ideas about that. But we've also got the Harbour Bridge behind it. We can't forget about that. That was opened to the public in March 1932, and it's known by some Sydney-siders as the coat hanger. Although I have yet to find a single Sydney-sider listening to that, so maybe that was just when it was first built. Who knows? Now, the bridge cost around £10 million to build, and although it's curved, there is not a single piece of curved metal in it. The entire thing is actually made from straight steel beams, so it's a little bit of an optical illusion. Alright guys, now we're just about to go over a couple of bumps here. Once we've gone over them, if you just take a look to your left, you're going to see some pretty big trees, especially the one on the far left there. That's one of the bigger ones that we've got in the garden actually. That's the Moreton Bay fig tree that was planted over 100 years ago, so it's pretty ancient. Much like the other ones that are there as well actually. That's why they have the fence around them, because they sometimes get fungal infections. So it means the branches can just drop with no warning, and obviously we don't really want anyone around that if that happens. And then if you carry on looking to the left, you're going to see another tree there that's on its side. That's another dragon's blood tree. We saw those by the conservatorium, and unfortunately in 2008 that one actually fell over in the middle of the night. And the horticulturists think it was because the roots got a bit stressed because the top got really heavy. So just ended up falling over. But thankfully they did manage to save it, and so it's still healthy. Okay, now if you guys just take a look to your right, in the middle of the harbour there, you're going to see a stone structure. That there is Fort Denison. Now Fort Denison actually started its life just as a small rocky islands, 25 meters high. When the British came over, they decided to use the island as a prison. But instead of actually building anything for the prisoners, all they did was chain them up to the outside of the island and then leave them there. So they would have been exposed to all of the elements. They got told if they tried to escape, they'd just be eaten by sharks. And the island eventually became known as Pinch Gut because the prisoners were only fed bread and water once a week. So it was a pretty nasty place. But then in the 1800s, the government got a little bit concerned about the strength of the defences around the harbour. So they quickly got the convicts to build the fort. Now I use the word quickly quite loosely because actually by the time they finished building it, so much time had passed, the technology had actually advanced. And so the cannons on Fort Denison were absolutely useless. There was no point in them being there. And the cannons have actually never been fired in anger before. Now if you just take a look to your left here, you're going to see the Australian native rockery. So there's an example here of some of the plants and the fauna that you'll find only in this country, nowhere else in the world can you find them. And then if you just carry on looking up to the left, just on the hill, you're going to see one of the newer displays in the gardens. The plants actually spell out a little something. It's a little bit cheeky. I quite like it. It's one of my favourite displays. And that is it, guys. That brings us to the end of our tour on the Choo Choo Express. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've had a good time and you've learned a little something along the way. Just make sure that you've got all your belongings with you and enjoy the rest of your sunny day.
Ah, sì.
그냥 그만 그냥 그만.
Thank you.